Good evening, folks. After more than 100,000 views in 48 hours, we can clearly see a pattern to the questions that are coming in about the Safe Zones video from the other night. That was the one where we went over the animal anomalies, the cyclical deluge, and the other effects that come with the tilting of the Earth. The tilt supported by the critical pieces of observational evidence, the tilt supported by the Pentagon papers taken by Major White, and supported by Einstein and numerous other catastrophists, including myself. With more questions than all others on that video combined, it seems that even those who liked the music at the end might have rather preferred I explained those still images a bit more. Sounds like a great idea for a Tuesday night. First, what will the tsunamis look like? And here it was critical to remember that there's two different kinds. First, the tilting of the Earth pushes the land into the water's inertial flow, leading to a slow building but hours-lasting high tide. Picture a foot a minute for several hours. This is the one from which you just can float away, and is likely to make it the furthest inland. The sloshback tsunamis come second, after the tilt, when the oceans literally slosh back the other way, and hit the other side of the land masses. With so much water on the land, or evaporated, there won't be as much to impact, but it will be fairly brutal at the coastline. If you had to pick one of these two options, you'd want to be at the initial tidal surge and something that floats, rather than at the sloshback. The next graphic was from our book, and we're just showing where we've gone so far in the magnetic excursion, and then breaking out further into what happens if we get no more accelerations, a slow acceleration of the field loss, and then a massive acceleration. Now, what is not in here is the fact that we had a shift in the 2015 fields, and then a field loss acceleration in 2017, coincident with the geomagnetic jerk. And so the green line is truly out at this point, somewhere between yellow and red. The safe zone consideration, number one in my mind, should be about the flood. The cyclical deluge may not be the most difficult aspect of the excursion to overcome, especially if you can just float away, but it is the predominant concern that directs much of the other prepping. And yes, most of the Earth is indeed low elevation. The water breaks through the valleys and the plains easily, leaving a lot of the mountain areas spared. The second consideration was about the weather, and for this you need to consider both the current conditions and those after the tilt. For all we know, a decade could separate the sun knocking out the power and then the tilt of Earth. If you only survive now because of electricity, it's something to think about. Up next, this graphic I believe caused probably the most confusion from that video. It is the post-tilt Earth rectangular projection, and the reason the words are written twice is because it will be cold at the new North Pole and the new South Pole. Go ahead and pretend those words do stretch all the way across the screen. Hawaii and the Congo, no real change in temperature, being the axis of the tilt. Finally, no matter how great your spot, if there are too many other people around, it's a problem. Everyone will have the same needs: food, water, shelter, supplies. And if you have seen The Road or Mad Max or The Colony or anything like that, a lot of times what they get right is the human nature and what we'll do to survive. The more rural, the better, either permanently or as a solid bug-out plan. A lot of people emailed asking where they could find the safe zone maps, like I pulled them from a website. Sorry, I made these maps based on the current climate with the potential to lose electricity, the future climate after the shift, the likely inertial wave paths and those of the sloshback tsunamis, and also, as you can see, things like volcanoes and whether some other thing makes the region unfavorable for the time being. Go back to the disaster series, watch the full 77-minute video. There's a lot more in there on survival than you might imagine, or remember if you've seen it already. I'll see you in the morning for the daily update. Be safe, everyone.